Okay, guys. The topic of my presentation is the cybersecurity threats embedded in the fourth industrial revolution. Nowadays, the humanity is facing the new phenomena, which was just discovered and narrated by the famous scientist Klaus Schwab. And he states that it goes much more wider than the fusion of the machines and the humanity and the human being. It goes from the robotic to the understanding of the new social phenomena and social interactions, which are close to the new technologies which were just described. And there is two threats, main threats in this, which shape how we will handle this phenomena and how we will make our future more understandable and more manageable. These two limiting factors in understanding our future and making the fourth industrial revolution possible with less threats and more possibilities is the leadership and knowledge. Knowledge about the new technologies, how they influence not only the industrial development, but with the interaction in the social cohesion, the social trends, and interaction between the human beings. For example, that the millennials, they speak less between each other. Today they communicate more through the social networks and other technological abilities. It shapes how they buy, how they spend their own time, how they build their families. And the leadership. Leadership is about the leading the trends and understanding how of the better implementation and the better applying the technologies for making life more predictable. And recently, the World Economic Forum announced their three main megatrends which will shape our future in the next decade. This is the three main trends. The trend, the digital one, the physical, and the biological. The physical trend is about unmanned cars, the 3D printing, the robotics embedded with AI and other. The digital is IoT and the digital platform, which will totally disrupt the way how the people shop, buy, how the business works, as it will totally disrupt the margin for the most of the companies, especially technological one, as everybody will be present on a flat market with a normal profit. And the biological. According to the Harden trend, the Gartner hype, it's a model of applying and understanding that how apply and use technologies now and in the future. The blockchain is almost on the market. It is being implemented in most of the sectors of the economy. But the human argumentation is just coming. And this is in a biological trend, which is being discussed at the World Economic Forum. They prepared the model, the World Economic Hyperlink, which describes the fourth industrial revolution and the main key changes which will disrupt each part of our social, business, political life. It's a disruption of jobs and skills. It is about us, which jobs and skills we need to have, I will speak about this later. And innovation and productivity. How fourth industrial revolution will boost inequality between the different social parts. The agile governance. The people are just starting speaking about that. How we will change the way of the governance. The people would like to use different models, for example, the participative democracy, the petitions, the polls, the online election. This is just the tip of the iceberg. How people will develop the decisions to vote. This is what needs to be discovered. The business disruption, the fusion technologies, and identity. I would like to speak a bit about the disruption of jobs and skills, as it is combined to the megatrends in the physical world. And we can the disruption of jobs is connected to the fusion technologies, AI, robotics, innovation, and all other parts of our social lives. It is researched that the jobs which were in demand a decade ago will expire at all. As the AI will be totally implemented, for example, in unmanned vehicles, we won't need any bus drivers and the truck drivers. It is happening now. But what we will do with these people? These people will lose their jobs. And that is a question in inequality section. How to share their wealth among all participants of the society. How build new jobs to consume this manpower. And the rapid change is so fast that the innovation, it is not good enough to invent new jobs, to train new skills for the members of society. And it is not about 5–10% of the total population of the country. It is about 80% of the population from most of the industrialized states. It is impossible to handle 80% of inhabitants being on a social welfare. And one of these trends embedded in the fourth industrial revolution is cybersecurity. Actually, it is named as a security and the conflicts. And we are on a cybersecurity conference. Why we are speaking about this? To understand what is the key factors of the generation new cybersecurity threats. And they will go not for a neighboring states in most of their time. They will go from the migration, the lack of international cooperation. They will go from the business disruption and the espionage. Fourth industrial revolution totally nullify the way we understand and the way the government does war, and this will happen in the next decade. Moreover, there will be no war in a physical war, no more. All the conflicts which we see today has the hybrid nature. And the more we go, the more this will change. I would like to speak also about the three main disruption trends which will happen in the next 5–10 years. So it is about implementation of the AI, which was invented 50 years ago, but today it will be embedded into the most of the informational system and the ERP system, and also in the governance. This will change how people we need voting for the different legislature, or taking decision for a corporation for relocation the factories from one country to another. And there is a lot of successful model when the deep learning is better than CEO of the company. So probably in 5 years, the chief information officer of the Microsoft will be the main guy who is making decision, not the CEO. Then the trend, and the main trend for a human being, it's the elimination of the humankind jobs. But there will be also the creation on the different type of the jobs which have some light in the tunnel. This is a research made by Boston Consulting Group. As we see, this diagram shows the jobs lost in a production. It is about this diagram was done for the Germany. It's not for the Ukraine or for the world. So the Germany is a highly industrialized country with huge industry. They will lose about 30% of the workforce in a production. So BMW and Mercedes-Benz will fire about 50% of the jobs they have. We see we have some stable in a maintenance, administration and management, R&D design, sales and services, some growth, logistics, IT and data integration, not a huge amount of increase. But the biggest trend, the biggest expectation to have the huge job growth in such industry as research and development and human interface design. It's a creative jobs. It's about creating knowledge. It's about selling your creativity. Just you became the person who creates new content, totally new, which can be patented or copyrighted, you are in this cohort. If no, you are a commodity, and probably you will live on a basic income. The question of the basic income, it's a test to answer how to recycle 80% of the population of the countries. How? Why they need to do that? Because if these people will be not engaged in social life, the level of conflicts, social inequality, the wars, the migration will make the Earth not very pleasant planet for a living. I guess it's done. Thank you for listening to my presentation. It was a bit philosophical. It was not the technical applied. I did the presentation as a part of my module on Industry 4.0 for a business school. Thank you.